Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. Well, we've got a new patch here, and this one has shuffled everything around yet again, as the developers like to do. This is taken from a normal game. You can see we've got Masters player, another Diamond player. I think there were 3 different Platinum players in this game as well. This was taken from the day of the patch. I think this is patch 12.14, but I can't remember the exact number. And this was played on the day that the patch came out. Now, one thing that you notice when you play normal TFT games on the day of a patch is there's a lot more people that are in higher elo brackets in the normal games. If I'm playing a normal game and it's just some random day, then typically it's not that many people that are highly rated on the ladder. But on this day, because it was a patch day, a ton of people were trying out stuff in normal. So I was hitting people in Masters and Diamond all day because, like me, they were trying to test out various different things on the new patch before they went into ranked. So I got some very, very good quality normal games on this day. All right, well, the big change in this patch is, for some reason, the developers decided that they were going to nerf the attack damage of basically every single unit in the game. They said that AD was too strong and that they wanted to make AP more viable. So they nerfed the scaling on AD. Previously, when units start up, they gained 80% of their base AD. Now when units start up, they only gained 50% of their base AD. So in particular, this meant that 3-star units really got hit across the board in this patch. So 3-star, you can see on the board I have right here, I got a random double Varus drop, which in the previous patch would have been like me just dancing for joy because Varus was such a strong option in the last patch. But 3-star Varus, 3-star Nidalee, 3-star Ezreal, all these units just kind of got murdered because they nerfed the 3-star scaling so hard on these units. I don't really know why they did this. This felt like something that should have been done between sets, not just randomly halfway through one set. But that was what we ended up with, and that's the change. The other thing is they did a whole bunch of buffs to various different AP units in this patch. And we're going to see Aurelion Sol in particular, who's going to eventually end up being the focus of this video. So what actually is strong in this patch? Well, it is Aurelion Sol, Aurelion Sol, Aurelion Sol. They have enormously overbuffed this unit. This unit is way too strong. Will probably get hotfix nerfed, although we'll see. So Aurelion Sol, definitely too strong. Alshin is still a decent option, still a playable option. And then you also have Jade has become a good option again. Xiaoyu into Jade. And the other option that seems to be viable is Corki. And that's kind of it. Those are the comps that are strong right now. But all of those other comps generally lose out to Aurelion Sol in the late game. I played a couple of Corki games, and they went well enough. I got top 4s every time I played Corki. But Corki just cannot deal with Aurelion Sol, gets annihilated in the late game. And the only comp that seems to do well against that in the late game is Jade Xiaoyu, but Jade Xiaoyu is also extremely contested from what I've seen. Anyway, as far as what's going on here, I was thinking, you know what, I've got these Astral units. I should probably try to play into Astral in the hopes that maybe I can find Aurelion Sol down the line. The problem was I don't really have the items to play through this Varus. Like, I've got this Varus, but I don't really have the items for it. I got a Chain Vest off the initial carousel. Or not a Chain Vest. I got a Cloak off the initial carousel. And then I have a Belt. And I actually have a 2-item start, not a 3-item start. So I'm like, ugh, well, how do I play into Varus from here? Like, I don't have a Rage Blade. I don't have any swords for offensive items. So I'm kind of struggling with direction for my comp. I'm trying to decide if I want to try to play through the Varus with Astrals, or if it's better just to go for like a more generic mage setup. I'm also floating a lot of gold on my bench. I've got these Shens sitting on my bench. I have a belt on one of them that I'm not even using right now. So I'm trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to play. Like, I want to try to go into an Aurelion Sol setup long term. And Astral is a good way to get there, but like, I'm kind of missing the units that I would most want to have. Like, I would much rather be playing Alawi Skarner alongside this Varus as opposed to Vlad plus Nidalee, both of them 1-star. And unfortunately, I really have not been seeing much in the way of Astral units after getting the double Varus from the initial minion round. So like, that was awesome, but I'm not really hitting since then. I also even had an Anivia pop out, so I probably should have just sold the Varuses and played and looked to play Jade instead. So I'm not really happy with how this opening is going here. And I decide I'm going to clear some of my bench so I can get up to 10 gold and try to go from there. Unfortunately, though, I'm selling some units that might be useful to hold on to, like the Heimerdinger would be useful. I actually could have Namzi in here if I wanted by playing that Lulu along with the Heimerdinger. So, like, I'm kind of trapped between different comps. I'm kind of trapped between playing an Astral Varus in the way that I would have in the last patch, and then looking to play like a more generic Mages setup, or looking to play into something else, like maybe going into Jade. So, as I said, I was trying to figure out what the heck I was playing here, and it really was not going well. The fact that I had all 1-star units, and I only have a 2-item start, not exactly great. So I think that I misplayed this early game pretty badly here. I'm going to beat this person who is just lost streaking with Shimmer Scale, but like that's actually kind of bad in a way because it interrupts a lost streak, and it means I will not have first pick on the carousel. Although I do win a tiebreaker with some of these other players. I actually win a tiebreaker with one other player because I'm second pick. So here I have to decide what I want to get on this carousel. And at this point in time, I'm still thinking, I should be playing through this Varus. So if I remember, I'm going to go ahead and grab the bow here, which would end up being a problem for later in the game, because I end up deciding a little bit after this that I'm going to shift focus away from Varus, because I can't seem to put this comp together. And I really would have done better to take a different item here. Would have done better to take some kind of spellcasting item in retrospect. But as I said, this is what happens when you don't have direction for your comp and you're trying to figure things out. Sometimes you end up making these decisions that backfire. So like right here, I get a Nami. I'm like, great, I can play the Nami. And then there's also a Heimerdinger. And I was like, oh, well, I could play Mages if I get this in. And I was like, oof, you know, I really wish I had held on to that. I really wish that I had held on to that Lulu, because then I could get Trainer in. Because look at my comp here. What am I missing? Yeah, kind of missing some frontline here. I do have the targeting dummies, but I'm not sure they're really going to stand up to a whole lot here. So I've decided at this point, I'm like, you know what? I've got the Nami, and I've got this Vlad, and I have a Heimerdinger. I think I'm better off shifting over into just more of a standard Mages setup. I know they're contested, but I think that this is probably better than whatever it is I'm trying to do with Varus, because this is really not working. But, of course, I've gone ahead and taken a bow, which is not ideal if I'm going to be playing Mages. It's probably the worst item to pick up if you're going to play Mages. Also, Mages themselves are not that strong in this patch. The issue is that all these other units that Mages play into are strong. Aurelion Sol is super strong. Alshin is still okay if you can get there. But Mages themselves are actually not that great. So I get an Astral shop, and I'm finally able to move into some Astral units that I actually want to play. So like I can play the Alawi, and then now I can look to maybe play the Skarner. I would certainly like to get the Skarner in. I could play the Skarner over playing the Twitch, for example, but I don't know that that's better. Varus with no Rageblade and no Swift Shot is not really a unit. So yeah, I'm not sure that that would be particularly great either. But my board is still all 1-stars aside from this Nidalee. Excuse me, aside from this Nami. Said the wrong thing. It's still all 1-stars, and I'm kind of moving into this Mage setup a little bit later than I'd want. And my items are not especially great for this either. So this is kind of a game where things are just like not really working out. I've made some decisions that probably were suboptimal, and I'm not exactly hitting the units that I want to hit or the items that I want to hit. So anyway, I win this round, and do I sell to get to 20? I believe that I do. And yeah, there we go. So going to sell to get to 20. So, I mean, it wasn't like a super disastrous opener, but it certainly could have gone better. Note that I'm also going to get a Rise here. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, with Rise, I feel like I definitely should look to play into Mages. Again, I hate my items. I really don't like the items I have here to play Mages. And that bow was a total grief if I'm going to play Mages. But I've got the Rise. And if I can just hit some of these units and 2-star them, I think that I can maybe put something together. But I've been kind of playing from behind the entire game, in part because I have the 2-item start instead of the 3-item start, but also because, as I said, I made some decisions that were not the best in this game. Anyway, so we're going to have to look to try to stabilize here. I actually did not take that much damage on stage 2. I only took 10 damage, but I have not been on any kind of a win streak or loss streak, and I do not feel that my board is very stable at all right now. Like, I feel like I'm about to get destroyed by people. later on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put in the Lulu so that I can start stacking up Trainer, and then I'm also going to put in the Rise. And now I need to get Skarner in to get Astral Trait back in play. So let's go ahead and make use of some of these items. I have double belts, so I'll make a Warmogs. My front line is really bad, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I also do want to get another belt so I can look to make Morellos, which was enormously buffed in this patch, which I'll talk more about in a minute. But for this round, I'm kind of just sacking this round. I'm expecting to lose this one because I've taken out Astral and taken out Bruisers, but I wanted to get Trainer in, and honestly, having Namzi here is probably the right call for this fight because there's so much Jade healing on this comp. I need Namzi to get off the healing debuff to have any chance of killing anything. Looks like I was able to hit some of those units. And let's face it, I'm just not going to win against this. This person's already gone to level 6, and it looks like they have 0 gold. I mean, if someone wants to go level 6, 0 gold, I'm definitely not going to beat that. So this was my fear, that I would start taking 1 billion damage here on this stage. Probably should have sold the Vlad for 40 gold, but I wanted to go ahead and have Vlad in case I wanted to play him. All right, so we get options here. I did think about Mage Heart, but I was like, what does Mage Heart really do for me? I'm not sure that's really going to do a whole lot. I think Second Wind is probably just better here. Get that health back. Yeah, the +1 Mage, I'm not sure would really do that much for me. So this is standard leveling timing. I'll go ahead and level to level 6. And in terms of traits, my board does not look that bad. I mean, 3 Mage, 3 Astral, 2 Bruiser, 2 Mystic, 2 Trainer, 1 Guild. Like, in terms of traits, this is perfectly fine. But my board is not strong at all. And the reason for that is every single unit is 1 star except for the Nami. Like, that's the big weakness. And then look at my items as well. Where is the strength in my items? I have an Alawi with a Warmogs, and I have no other items committed. So Rise has no items, Nami has no items, Alawi has an okay item. Like, Warmogs is not bad, but she's certainly not going to get armor and MR. I mean, I guess she can steal them from the other team, but, like, my board is much weaker than it might seem, and that's why just looking at the traits is kind of not sufficient to tell the story here. Second Wind is going to give me a lot of value. I actually got a ton out of that. A whole bunch of units were getting low, and then they got 40% of their health back, which is going to turn this fight into something that's somewhat close, but I don't think that I beat this person's board with significantly more 2-star units, and I believe they already had a 2-star Namzi as well, so I'm actually kind of surprised this is as close as it is. So actually I'm going to kill everything except the Trist and then lose this. So that is at least a good loss. I only take 4 damage, and that was the person who's 100 HP win streaking throughout the lobby, so that certainly could have been a lot worse than it actually was. But I'm still not in a strong position, so I was like, you know what I need to do? I need to get stronger right now, so I'm going to sacrifice some economy, or else I'm just going to get blasted out of this lobby. So I actually get up to 7 Namis, and I was like, oh, okay. So maybe Nami 3-star? I would have liked more Alawis there. 2-star Alawi would have been super nice as well. But okay, 2-star Skarner would have been nice as well. Not having 2-star Skarner, despite having played Astral the whole game, kind of a problem. Not exactly what you want, but oh well. And now look at this person's board. This person has a Shyvana already. And you're like, wait a minute, what? How does this person have Shyvana? Well, this person has taken Recombobulator as their augment. By the way, as you see, Shyvana's Flame Breath just annihilate everything in my back lines because you are not supposed to be having Shyvana on your team at this stage of the game. So yeah, they took Recombobulator, which takes all of your units and randomly shuffles them into a unit 1 cost tier ahead. And it actually got a significant buff in this patch. They changed it so non-dragon units will always turn into other non-dragon units, and dragon units will recombobulate into other dragon units. So that person obviously had a 4-cost dragon, and then it got turned into a 5-cost dragon, and they have pulled Shyvana. All of the 5-cost dragons are very strong in this patch. So they definitely got good use out of Recombobulator there. And I don't know what I was supposed to do against a Shyvana that flies into my backline and does like 1,500 damage with her Flame Breath instantly. Shyvana was changed so that instead of doing percentage-based fire damage, she now does flat fire damage, which is a lot better because she typically flies into the back lines where units don't have that much health. All right, anyway, so here I've gone ahead and grabbed the Needlessly Large Rod. There is a Siphon in my store, and honestly, the smart play here would probably be to pivot into Siphon and just use Siphon as one of my carries. But instead, I was like, no, I'm going to stick with this. And fortunately, I do hit the Nami 3-star, so that's big. And that's kind of the only thing that's going to stabilize my comp here. But the problem is I did not hit any Alawis, I did not hit any Skarners, I did not hit any Rises, and I did not hit any Silases. I also did not 2-star Lulu. I didn't 2-star anything else. So I had 3-star Nami, but I've got 1-star everything else on my board. It is a bizarre setup here. Very, very weird in terms of this setup. So yeah, not quite sure what to make of that. Now, the other problem is that So I'm still missing kind of the other key unit for a mage's comp, which is Silas. And in fact, having a well-itemized Silas is usually the big difference in how well mages work in the early game. Yes, 2-star Rise is nice. Yes, 3-star Nami is nice. But if you have a 2-star Silas with good items, that's what kind of makes a mage's comp come together. I know I've said that in other videos. And I have not found even one Silas yet, which is really bad because I've rolled an awful lot of gold up to this point in time. And like, hey, another Rise, that's big. 2-star Rise would help me a lot. But look at all the pairs I have here, too. Pair of Rise, pair of Lulus. I still only found the one Heimer. I had that Heimer earlier in the game that I had on my bench and sold. There was a Lulu earlier in the game that was in my shop and sold. So my Namzi is pretty pathetic. It's not getting stacked up. And I'm just kind of missing the pieces that I need to play this game. I'm also seeing that person who's still win streaking on 100 HP. And I'm like, man, this person has an Infinity Force on their Tristana. They have a Shojin on their Tristana. They're just going to go into Aurelion Sol. And like, they have so much money, they're just going to go into Aurelion Sol and easily win the game. So I'm just not feeling confident at all in this setup. And it just feels like one of those games where like I was trying to play something and it just didn't quite work. As I said, like I made a couple mistakes along the way and just didn't manage to put the pieces together. So like I'm stable for right now. You saw I beat that Corky comp on the last in the last round. So like I did beat that Corky player. And it looks like I'm going to beat this player too because they have no damage left on their board. But I'm not worried about right now. I should be winning right now. I rolled, and what is it? I probably rolled like 40 gold here on level 6. So I darn well better be winning rounds right now. Largely I'm winning off of having the 3-star Nami. The problem is we're going to hit stage 4 and other people are going to be either rolling on 7 or leveling up to 8 and then rolling on 8. And I'm still stuck on level 6 and I can't really roll much more because I've already spent so much money rolling. So it's like I stabilized for stage 3, but now stage 4 is looking to be an epic disaster. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. Just pray that I can hit some more of these units is about all that I can say. I still only have one Alawi. At least finally I get another Silas. And then another Silas. I get 2 Silases. Okay, so that's good news. So I can go ahead. I'm going to have to level and put in the Silas. So that's going to help out. He actually does not make any traits, though. Now I'm on 4 Mage, 3 Bruiser, which is somewhat less than ideal. I'm also going to go ahead and make a Gunblade on Rise. It's not an amazing item on Rise, although it's not bad. It is an amazing item on Aurelion Sol. Then I've got this extra rod left over, and I had the items because I've got this extra bow that I took for Varus earlier in the game. Now I've got this extra bow that I don't really know what to do with. But I do have the pieces for Giant Slayer, so I was thinking this over right now. I was like, do I just make Giant Slayer here? Again, it's not an amazing item for Rise. It's not an amazing item for Aurelion Sol, but it's like kind of what I have the items for. And my board is weak enough that I don't feel like I can afford to waste board strength by having items sit on my bench. So even if something is like maybe 80% effectiveness, it's probably better to make that than have it sit on my bench and like not actually be used. All right, here you're seeing me up against a Jade comp, and Jade is quite strong in this patch. As I said, or the meta is kind of Aurelion Sol, Jade, and Corky, and those are kind of the 3 comps that are viable right now. That person is on 100 HP, so they are very rich, certainly richer than me. Oh, and I'm going to take meditation here. I don't even think about it. I just grab the meditation instantly because meditation is really good with mages. In particular, it's going to be awesome on Nami. Now Nami, it's kind of like she has basically has like a Spear of Shojin on her at all times. Anyway, so this is the point where I thought about it last round, and then I decided this round I need to go ahead and make the Giant Slayer. Again, not best in slot by any means for Rise, not as good for Aurelion Sol, but I just need more damage here. I am not in a strong position, and I can't roll right now. If I roll right now, I'm never getting to level 8. So even though I would love to roll, I've already rolled so much gold, I don't feel like I can do that. And I also still feel like my comp is just kind of in this weird position with 4 Mage, 3 Bruiser. So like, as I said, I'm kind of between multiple comps here, but I don't know what I would change, and I don't know what I would take out in order to change that. I guess I could, oh, you know what? I could have dropped the Skarner for Vlad, and that was the play here. I should have seen that. Drop Skarner for Vlad. Now I don't need Skarner in for Astral, so Vlad could have gone in and got me to 5 mages, and that 100% would have been stronger. So now that I'm watching this video, I'm seeing that, and that maybe would have stabilized me a bit more here. I'm up against this person who is playing like a Shimmer Scale plus Xayah comp. I don't actually think that that's very strong, but they do have Xayah 2-star. I don't like the way they've itemized Xayah. Double Rage Blade is too much attack speed. You just hit the attack speed cap and you don't really have much damage on your board. But it's certainly better than what I've got. And you see me just continuing to lose here, and it's like, oof. 3 Varuses in the store. Where is Alawi? I found 1 Alawi the entire game. What is going on here? I can't even sell Alawi and transfer her items over to Silas, because then I would lose Alawi, who I need to play in my board. So yikes. Frontline, not a thing in this game. You just, at this stage of the game, in mid-stage 4, you cannot have 1-star Alawi, 1-star Silas, 1-star Skarner, 1-star Heimer on your board, and 1-star Rise. Like, I just... cannot be playing through these units at this stage of the game. It's just not strong enough. So anyway, I'm doing my best here. I'm trying to position for these fights, but you can see this is just a game that's not working. I am not finding the pieces that I need to be competitive in this game. I actually do have good augments. The targeting dummies plus second wind plus meditation are actually quite good for what I'm running, which is kind of a stall comp here. And I honestly don't know what this person's doing, an old player. With the amount of money that they had, like this person win streaked like the first 9 rounds of the game. They should be level 8 and rolling it down by this point, considering how much money they had. But for whatever reason, they are still running this Tristana. Maybe they haven't hit yet, but I guess they're not even level 8 yet, so I don't know. I'm not sure quite what they're doing with their setup here. All right, so the only advantage I get from being in this kind of struggling position is I do get early carousel priority, and I see a Bard on this carousel, so I'm like, that's the unit I want. I'm going to play the Bard, and maybe I can even find like an item remover and get this Chain Vest off of Bard for the long term, and then get it onto a unit that I actually want, an actual frontliner like Alawi. But Bard is really crucial because it's going to give me another rank of Guild, another rank of Mystic, and it's also going to start increasing the shop odds, which are pretty important. Getting an early Bard in is actually really nice because he will start increasing your shop odds to find more of the higher cost units. Also, there's a Heimer in the store. Yeah, I should pick this up. But now I'm again stuck on 4 mages, 3 bruisers. So it's really regretting that I didn't see that I should put the Vlad in here. I don't know why I didn't see that. Normally I'm pretty good. That was the whole reason I was holding Vlad, in case I needed to play him. But so I go to level 8 so I can play the Bard without taking anything out. But I still have Alawi 1-star. I still have Rise 1-star. And this is not really what I'm looking for. All right, so now I'm up against the recombobulated Shyvana player again. They have, look at the Shyvana going into the back lines, and she just breathes fire all over the Rise. And as soon as Rise dies, I'm probably not killing anything. Again, 2-star Rise would have survived that, so yeah, not having a 2-star Rise, a bit of a problem. This person has like the most bizarre board of high-cost units. They have a Bard, they have a Soraka, they have the Shyvana. So yeah, they're going to hit me for another, I don't know how much damage. 12 damage, 13 damage. So I'm down to 29 HP, and this is not looking good. I wanted to roll after the Treasure Dragon, but now I'm just going to have to roll here. And I actually do find another Bard and find another Alawi, so I'll have to pick that up. And I was like, Ornn, I guess I'm not going to play Ornn. And oh, finally an Astral Shot gives me 2-star Shyvana, or not Shyvana, 2-star Alawi. Finally get 2-star Alawi on 4-6. Yikes. Ooh, you should have 3-star Alawi by this point in time if she's going to be your primary tank. So, ow. Kind of not hitting here. I guess maybe I should have looked to transfer the tank items over to Silas, because he's a better tank in a mage composition. And so now I'm up against someone who is playing Astral, and they actually have hit 3-star units. They have a 3-star Alawi with Warmog's Bramble Vest and Dragon's Claw, which is probably the best you can get there. And then they also have a Varus who has like a mana immune. So you're probably like, well, obviously this person beats me. Look at all the 3-star units they have. It's like, well, do they actually have damage behind this Alawi? Like they've got a Varus with a Rage Blade and a Bloodthirster, and a Manamune. So I was like, actually, I think I might be able to win this one, because even though they've got a bunch of 3-stars and a well-itemized Alawi, they don't really have any damage in their comp. So yeah, look at that. Actually managed to beat that person. Kind of amazing. As I said, my augments are actually really good in this game, but the problem is everything else. All right, so I'm looking here, and I was like, oh, a belt. A belt can get me Morellos. And then I've got an item remover, so I can get this. So I'm going to make Morellos. Again, I've made items for Aurelion Sol. These are actually not great Rise items, but they're good items for an Aurelion Sol. So I'm going to get this Chain Vest off of the Bard, and so now I can put this on a frontliner. And I was like, do I want to make Sunfire, or do I want to make Gargoyle Stoneplate? But I was like, wait a minute, let's go ahead and make the Quicksilver. It is actually a pretty good item for a frontliner. So go ahead and put that on there. And then I roll, and then I hit the Rise, and then I hit the Silas, and then I also have a Bard in my store too, and I was like, oh, Bard 2-star, okay, well, that's pretty good. Now, whoever I put this Giant Slayer on is going to lose meditation value, so that's a bit unfortunate. So I definitely got stronger there. I hit 2-star Rise, 2-star Silas, 2-star Bard, who's going to keep increasing my shop odds, but this board is still clearly not good enough. Rise is your carry for stage 3 and stage 4. You really want to move out of Rise by stage 5. And he is just a unit that is not going to carry hard enough. I still have 3 mages in because, again, for whatever reason, I did not see that I needed to play Vlad over the Skarner. Still not sure why I didn't recognize that, but whatever. Water under the bridge right now. So even though I've gotten stronger here, it just doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. Some of these other boards are just going to spike harder and are going to be able to win. Let's see how I'm doing against this Corki player. So this person has Corki, but Corki just has a Thief's Glove, does not really have like real items here. So can my front line hold up long enough here? I guess they're actually playing through Elise. Oh, never mind. They're playing through Built Different. That's right. This is the Built Different player. So yeah. It's not surprising that I lose that, and I'm going to drop down to 16 HP. So, as I said, it's just like one of those games where things didn't work. Like, you know, sometimes you just have those games, you didn't quite hit, you look back and some of the decisions you made were wrong decisions. So I'm like, I guess I just roll here and pray I hit, and oh, okay, just hit, baby. So I'm going to roll, and I hit the Aurelion Sol. So I have now just dumb lucked my way into the most broken unit in this patch. And I actually have very good items for this unit as well. So now I'm looking at my board here, and I think my setup is pretty good. Unfortunately, I'm on 5 Astral, which is indeed unfortunate. I would like to be on 6 Astral here. And typically when you play Aurelion Sol, you look to have 6 Astral in, because 6 Astral gives you 40 ability power and higher orb value from the shops. So unfortunately, I am stuck on 5, but I would not want to take anything out to go up to 6 Astral here. Like, I could put in, I mean, like, I could take out Heimerdinger, but I'd lose Trainer, and that doesn't seem valuable. I'm not going to take out a 3-star Nami. I'm not going to take out Bard. Like, that's kind of the thing, is normally you wouldn't have Bard in your team comp at this point, but I'm not going to take out a 2-star Bard. Like, that would just be insane. So yeah, oh, hey, look at this. All of a sudden, Aurelion Sol does 11,000 damage and annihilates the entire enemy board. So let us use the rest of this video to talk a little bit more about our friend Aurelion Sol. He received an insane number of buffs in this patch, but first, let me just read his official ability description. So his traits are Astral, Evoker, and Dragon. He gives you 3 ranks of Astral trait. Ability is Black Hole. Aurelion Sol summons an unstable black hole underneath a random enemy. After 2 seconds, it implodes, deals magic damage to all enemies in the area, and increases their damage taken by 20% for 10 seconds. So he kind of has like an area of effect magic damage spell that hits for damage and also debuffs anyone who hits, so that they take 20% more damage for the next 10 seconds. Also, black holes generated after 15 seconds of combat are larger and deal 33% more damage. So he kind of ascends after 15 seconds, and the black holes get larger. You can visibly see the black holes getting larger. At first, they hit like maybe a third of the board, and then they expand so that they hit basically the entire board. Pretty much hit every single unit on the board after he ascends. So yeah, that's kind of what happens. I was up against another person who's playing Aurelion Sol, but their Aurelion Sol did not have healing, and mine did. So even though that player's level 9 and should be annihilating me, I end up winning that fight in the Aurelion Sol against Aurelion Sol action. And that's good because I'm only on 16 HP, and I really need to avoid losing these rounds. So there are some options here. There actually is an evoker emblem on here. So one thing that you can do is if you can get an evoker emblem, you can play 4 evokers, which is very, very strong. I do not take that because I am not confident that I can survive to get to level 9, where I would look to play like Sona. That is the strongest option I could have taken here, would have been taking the evoker emblem, getting to level 9, and then putting in Sona for 4 evokers, but I was not confident I could survive that long, given that I am the lowest HP in the lobby. So that's what Aurelion Sol's ability does. Aurelion Sol has been little played throughout this set. Back before this set came out on PvE, he was the strongest unit on PvE because his ability worked in a little bit of a different way. His ability basically grew in size and grew in damage every single time he cast. And so basically you would put a mage cap on him, and so he would just double cast constantly, and he would, like after about 4 casts, he would just be hitting the whole board for insane damage. I think I have a video on this channel from PvE where he did that. But he got reworked. They reworked it so he does not increase damage after every cast. He just has that ascended value so that after 15 seconds, he's basically hitting the whole board. But he really was not played at all in previous patches because he just was not a very strong unit. But he got enormously overbuffed in this patch, like insanely overbuffed in this patch. As you see me beating the built different player who is way stronger than me, and I have no business beating this person with my crummy board with a 1-star Aurelion Sol. But Aurelion Sol does 17,000 damage and wipes the board with that person's setup. So how many buffs did he get in this patch, just as an FYI? So in this patch, they buffed his mana. Previously, Aurelion Sol's mana cost was 90. They have lowered that to 60, which is just absurd. If you want to buff his mana, take it to like 80. Don't go from 90 to 60. That's ridiculous. So they cut his mana cost by 1/3. They increased his damage enormously. The damage for his 1-star ability, the base damage is now 400. And at 2 stars, it goes up to 700, which is, again, just ridiculous. He almost doubles his damage at 2-star. But you can see how much the 1-star version of this unit is stabilizing me. I was just about to get knocked out of the game. I hit the 1-star version of this unit, and he's carrying me super hard in every fight. So, yeah. So they decreased his mana cost by a lot, increased his damage by a lot, as you see him once again wiping the board with a pretty well-built Jade comp here. So mana damage, then they buffed his ascension time as well. He used to have to take 20 seconds to ascend. Now they lowered that down to just 15 seconds. So from 20 seconds down to 15 seconds. And then on top of that, they also buffed Morello's in this patch, which is one of his key items. Morello's previously gave 30 AP. Now Morello's gives 50 AP. So yeah, from 30 up to 50. Again, I don't know why the designers do this. They take something that's underperforming, which Morello's was. Morello's was the item in set 6, was like a mandatory item to have in set 6. But they nerfed it very hard at the end of set 6. They nerfed the burn effect, they cut it in half, and so everybody stopped playing this item. So then after that, they decided that the item was too weak, and they decided now to buff it, and they increased the AP from 30 to 50. Again, like, why not go to 35? Why not go to 40? No, they go straight from 30 to 50. So they almost doubled the AP on Morello's, and the result is Morello's is now super overpowered as an item. Really, really ridiculous. So now Morello's is back to being like a must-buy on everybody. All right, so here I'm trying to get to level 9. I want to get to level 9 because I want to put Astral 6 in. Astral 6 will take me from giving 10 AP to everybody on the team to 40 AP to everybody on the team. And so this is another issue with Aurelion Sol. If you play him with 6 Astral, which you should, he gets 40 AP on top of his abilities as well. So it's like, it's not even as though his abilities do 400 damage, 700 damage. It's really 40% more on top of that. And again, I'm up against this, like, what is it, Shimmer Scale player. And I mean, it looks like they're going to beat me, but nope. Aurelion Sol just ascends, and then we knock that person out of the lobby. So how do you itemize Aurelion Sol is one of the other big questions. Like, how are you itemizing this guy? Also, I'm going to roll it down so I can get 6 Astral in. And even though 1-star Skarner sucks, like, you might be like, why are you playing Skarner here? Skarner sucks. And he does. At this stage of the game, a 2-star Skarner is bad. It gives 40 AP to Aurelion Sol. So like I said, gonna just buff up his damage by that much more. Anyway, in terms of itemization, his itemization is Gunblade plus Morello's plus 1 item, and I have Giant Slayer for the 3rd item. Giant Slayer is not ideal. If I could, I would much rather put some other better item here. Archangel Staff is probably the best because it synergizes with his Ascension, but Deathcap is good, Druid Gauntlet is good. What else is a good item? You could also play Shojin, which gets him to cast more often, although he doesn't really need it that badly because his mana costs are so low and he has Evoker trait for mana generation already. So a lot of options. Pretty much anything that gives AP will be decent for that last item slot. Giant Slayer, again, not terrible, but definitely not best in slot. So we're going to win and knock out yet another player, which is just ridiculous. I've been on this total win streak ever since I hit this unit. So now at this point, what am I looking for? I'm just looking for Aurelion Sol. Like, I could try to get Alawi's, but I'm like, Alawi 3-star does not do much to help me win this lobby. What actually gets me to win this lobby? It's Aurelion Sol 2-star, because his damage goes up by so much when you 2-star him. Again, his base damage goes from 400 to 700, so it almost doubles. But I'm seeing this person, an old player, and I'm like, I'm going to hit this person, and then they're just going to knock me out of the lobby, because they also have a 2-star Aurelion Sol, and I'm not going to beat that person. They have a 2-star Aurelion Sol, and that's going to beat my setup. Instead, though, fortunately, I dodged that player for a round, and I'm up against someone who's playing Ao Shin. Now, throughout this whole set, Ao Shin has been the mage unit that you play in the end game, or like the AP unit. So how does Ao Shin match up against Aurelion Sol? Like, which one of these units is the better one? It's not even close. Aurelion Sol dumpsters Ao Shin. It's not even close. So, yeah. That was quite a difference there, as I win that round pretty easily. All right, on this carousel, there's actually a mage cap, so I was like, oh, a mage cap. Well, let's go ahead and take that. That's going to be better than anything else that I can play here. I also have a Zoe on my bench, so I would love to get Zoe in, but I'm looking here, I'm like, what do I take out? In order to play Zoe, and in order to play Zoe, I'd have to drop down to 3 Astral, and I'm not playing through my mages. My mages are just support units. So I'm going to put that mage cap on the Bard, and now I desperately want to get a Vlad in. If I had Vlad in instead of Skarner, now I'd have 5 mages in here, but I have sold the Vlad earlier, and look at the shop odds. Look what Bard has done to my shop odds. I actually can't get Vlad anymore unless it would be out of an Astral shop, but I believe they changed it, so now the Astral shops can't give you 1-star units anymore either if you have 0% 1-star odds. Excuse me. So yeah, if I had Vlad in here right now, I'd have 5 mages, which would be much better. And then, oh, look what this person did, an old player. They sold their 2-star Aurelion Sol to play 2-star Ao Shin. What a mistake that is. If they had just kept the Aurelion Sol, they would have blasted me right out of this lobby. But no, they sold it to play Ao Shin instead. What a mistake. Because as you can see, 1-star Aurelion Sol pretty easily is beating 2-star Ao Shin. Yeah, that's not something that should be happening. I guess they didn't realize that in this patch, Aurelion Sol is much better than Ao Shin. Like, it's not even close he's better. So I win that round. Again, 1-star Aurelion Sol against 2-star Ao Shin. I should not be winning this. I should not be winning that setup. But I do. So, yep, they actually sold and moved into a weaker unit. And now the other player has 2-star Ao Shin as well. None of these people are playing Aurelion Sol. So, again, just mistakes on their part. Also, one of the 2 other players has 8 Orns, so I'm really hoping they don't hit 3-star Orn. Anyway, this person, again, so I don't know that I do especially well against all these people. What is this? Is this a ghost round? I can't recall. But this person does have a Mystic Emblem. And so that's going to cut the damage, by a fair bit. So I need Aurelion Sol to keep going off here. Note that every single time he casts, the Gunblade fills him back up to full HP, which is pretty ridiculous. I guess that last cast didn't. So it's going to be close. Can he manage to pop off against this unit? No. The Ao Shin had a Archangel Staff, so it was scaling up throughout the fight. So I do end up losing that one. But I get another round. I did not take enough damage to kill me. I only took 14 damage, so I'm still alive. So I'm going to get another shot against this player. Again, I have to hope they don't hit 3-star Orn. Not a lot I could do about that. But I'm going to get one more round, and I've got a minion round here to get a little bit more gold. and hope that I can hit that last Aurelion Sol. Because remember, all of this has been with 1-star Aurelion Sol. I won 8 rounds in a row with 1-star Aurelion Sol. Absolutely nuts. Like, this is not the 2-star version of the unit. This is the 1-star version. So I'm like, come on. Can you give me one more? Look at my shop odds. I have 24% odds to hit legendaries here. I probably should pick up that orange just to deny it to them in the shop. But I'm rolling in. Oh, there it is. Just barely enough money to pick that up. I guess I could have rolled a little bit more with the Astral Orb. So I'm going to put the Morelos on my Silas. Remember, I still do get meditation value on units that are not itemized, which is why I've left Lulu and Soraka with no items on them. And all right, so let's see it here. This person did not hit 3-star Ornn. So now we got the fair comparison. 2-star Alshin, 2-star Aurelion Sol. Who is the better Mage Dragon in this patch? And, well, do you really have to ask if you're watching this video? Because, as it turns out, again, it's not especially close. Alshin's going to get the cast off, but I've got second wind kicking in. Look at this damage. Aurelion Sol is going to ascend, and the first ascended cast is, boom, going to wipe the entire board. So I am going to win, knock this person out, and they are not happy because look what they're going to type here. Dog. I don't even know what that means, but it's their own fault. They sold an Aurelion Sol 2-star to play Alshin 2-star, and it's a much weaker unit. Ooh. Anyway, so this unit is way too strong. This unit definitely should get nerfed. We'll see if a hotfix nerf is in store for this unit, but this was a great game to demonstrate just how busted this unit is. Ooh. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this Aurelion Sol gameplay. Until next time, have a great week. Take care, folks.